Hello. So today, my book was upside down. We're picking up on chapter 25. If you remember, last time we read, Early told the story of Pi, how Pi found this ancient woman who kind of thought he was someone else and he was there for a long time. And then what just happens with Jack and Early? They find a woman who seems ancient as well, and she just called them in for supper. So let's see what happens with that. Chapter 25. I looked around to see who she might be talking to, but somehow I already knew. She was talking to me. It was the way she said, "Well, there you are," that struck me. She didn't say, "Who are you?" or "Who have we here?" or even, "Look what the cat dragged in." No, it was, "There you are," as if she'd been calling me, looking for me, waiting for me, for a long time. "Come on," she beckoned, "and bring your friend. Is that Archibald with you? I saw him come by today. I think he got a new gun, too, and wanted to show it off. I told him I expected you home any minute, but he said he couldn't stay. You know you're supposed to be back before supper." She stepped out into the rain and put her shawl around my shoulders, guiding me into the cabin, every step, every movement, showing her age. "You too, young man," she said to Early, slowly reaching for another blanket from the porch and wrapping it around him. Usually Martin brings home stray cats and dogs, and occasionally a stray boy. "Let's do our introductions, shall we? I'm Eustasia Johansson." She held out her hand, spotted and wrinkled. Early took it in his. "My name is Early Auden. I'm on a quest." "Well, isn't that splendid? My Martin's been on a quest too. He wanted to try out his new gun." "Did you shoot a rabbit for supper?" she asked, putting her arm around me. "No matter," she said, before I could reply. "I've got plenty of soup simmering in the pot, and your favorite jam, and biscuits." She winked at Early. "Now you boys go get changed and wash up for dinner. Early, you can change in Martin's room. He'll have extra clothes for you to wear until yours are dry. Don't be dilly-dallying." She handed Early an oil lamp and steered us toward a back bedroom where we could change, then busied herself over a white enamel cook pot on the stove. Before I could close the door, Early said in his too loud voice, "Is that your grandma?" Then, before I could answer, he followed it up with, "I didn't know your real name was Martin." Then I shut the door with a thud. "She's not my grandma, Early, and I'm not Martin. She's mistaking me for someone else." "I'm cold, Jackie. Can I borrow some of your clothes?" Early began opening drawers. "They're not my clothes, Early. That's what I'm trying to tell you." Early already had his wet clothes in a pile and was pulling a neatly folded pair of pants and shirt out of a drawer. Suddenly, I realized I was shivering. "Give me some clothes," I said, exasperated. "At least we can dry off until she figures out we're not who she thinks we are. She's old, and she probably has a great-great-grandson who lives nearby." Early was looking at the articles in the room. "Then why are his clothes here?" I glanced around. There was a wooden bed neatly made with a red and blue flannel blanket on top. Several books lay open on a small desk next to the window. A McGuffey reader, The Odyssey, Quackenbos, Practical Arithmetic. Their pages were a little yellowed, but otherwise everything was clean and tidy. I picked up a pencil and a sheet of paper that had several math problems written out. The last problem was unfinished, as if the student working on it had decided there was much more fun to be had outside and set his pencil down right then and there. "These are really old textbooks," I commented. "You don't think—" I put the paper and pencil down, considering my unfinished question. Early put on a pair of socks, of course carefully making sure the seam was placed evenly on his toes, while I put on a pair of pants that felt a little stiff and old-fashioned. Then I picked up a Sears Roebuck catalog lying on the nightstand next to the bed and thumbed through it, looking at old pictures of hammers, stoves, sewing machines, fishing rods, all manner of necessities. "What's your favorite jam?" Early asked. "What?" I said, distracted with the catalog. "Your grandma said she made your favorite jam. Is it blueberry or strawberry? I like both. I just hope it's not raspberry. One reason is because the raspberries got a lot of rain this year and the newspaper said they're more tart than usual. And another reason is because I don't like raspberries." One thing I learned about Early was that once he got something in his head, right or wrong, it was very hard to convince him otherwise. His mind was like one of the lobster traps I had seen hanging in the boathouse at Morton Hill. The lobster can find his way in through a small opening, but is unable to make his way back out. So it went with Early's ideas. Besides, raspberries also kind of look hairy, and they have those little seeds that get caught in your teeth. I stopped listening to Early as I looked at a particular picture circled in the catalog. 1894 Winchester Short Barrel Carbine Rifle, 1750. Initials engraved for an extra 50 cents. This was the new rifle that Eustasia Johansen had mentioned. I looked at the front of the catalog. 1894. I tried to figure things out in my head, but I couldn't even formulate the question. Early? Yes? I have a question for you. You still haven't answered my question. Blueberry, I answered. Good. I like blueberry. Now is it my turn? Yes. Okay, it's kind of like a story problem in math class. If Martin Johansen bought a new 1894 Winchester rifle, wears old-fashioned clothes that fit you and me, and has unfinished homework from an 8th grade primer, how old would he be? It depends. When he bought the rifle new, it would have been in 1894, and if he was in 8th grade, he'd have to be around 13. So he'd have to be born in 1881, and if he was still alive today, he'd be 64. Yeah, but wouldn't he have bigger clothes by now? And Mrs. Johansen said he'd gone off hunting this morning with his new rifle. There's no gun in this room, and I didn't see one when we came in. Eustasia Johansen called from the other room. Martin Johansen, you better find your way out here, and don't try to fool me into thinking you're finishing your lessons. I wasn't born yesterday. Early and I stared at each other. He went over to the desk and picked up the sheet of math problems. The look on his face registered confusion. At least he was realizing that something strange was going on. What do you think? I asked. I didn't think you had any homework over the break, and you missed number 4. It's -6. I couldn't believe he still didn't get it. The solution to the story problem was finally taking shape in my head. Eustasia Johansen didn't think I was her grandson or her great-grandson. She thought I was her son, Martin Johansen. Let's go eat. Early was out the door before I could utter another word. The cabin was warm and cozy, but showed signs of age in every corner. The tapestry-covered sofa was threadbare. The braided rug was frayed and faded. The enamel pots and china dishes were chipped. Even the gingham curtains were faded and worn. Eustasia Johansen was still the most ancient of all. Her body curved over on itself like a morning glory that is well into nighttime. But her pale cheeks had gained a little color, and her eyes were as sparkling